All right, so to get started here, we will be going over how to apply for an IRA account on our website. So there's one thing I want to address here before I get into what is shown on the slide here. If you are a new user, brand new user, you don't have any tastytrade account that is already open, you will want to go to tastytrade.com. And then in the upper right corner of your screen, you will see a red button that says open an account. So if you're a brand new user and do not have a tastytrade account yet, that's where you'll want to go to get things started and to apply for a tastytrade account. If you are an existing user, what you're seeing right now on the screen, this is what you'll be, this is where you'll want to go to apply for an IRA account. So this is on our website, my.tastytrade.com. You'll see it there in the center of the screen. Once you're there, you'll be prompted to log in with your username and password. After doing so, to apply for a new account, you'll want to click on the Manage button, which is located there at the top of the page. You'll see the tastytrade logo in the upper left. Then to the right of there, you'll see the Manage button. And then you want to click on the Summary button off to the left side of the page there. And at the top of the summary page, toward the upper right corner, you'll see this neat little section here where it says want to add a new account. So you just go ahead and click that blue button that says open another account, and that will take you right to an application.
Forgot that I muted myself. One thing to interject here really quick is that if you have an individual margin or cash, a non-IRA account with us already, you don't need to make a separate login credentials to open up this new account. What's great about our platform is that you can have 10 different accounts. It could be a cash account, a margin account, a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, a business account, a trust. You can have all these different accounts and trade them all under one login and all on the same platform. It's super easy to click between them. We can show that at the end. But if you're opening up an IRA and you already have an account, you don't need to make new login credentials. You want to go through these steps. If you don't have an account with us yet at tastytrade, that's where you're going to want to go to our main website, www.tastytrade.com, and click on the open account button in the top right. And that's where you'll create your login credentials to then start going through this account application. Back to you, Anthony.
Absolutely. Okay, so after you've clicked that open an account button, if you're already an existing account user, or like Christian just mentioned there, you go to the www.tastytrade.com, hit open an account in the upper right corner. You will then be taken to an account opening page. So the first page that you'll be presented with is actually a page here that will ask for some personal information. So it'll ask for first and last name, email address, date of birth, things along those lines. After you've filled that information out, the next page that you'll be taken to is what you're seeing here on the screen, where we will ask you what account type you would like to open. So if you're looking to open a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, or a SEP, or an inherited IRA, if you have an inherited IRA that you're looking to bring over, you would go ahead and choose retirement here from the account type page, and then you'd hit next in the bottom right corner there. After clicking next, you'll be taken to this next page here where it asks for the account type. So this is where you'll specify what it is that you want. So if it's just a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, or a SEP, for example, you would likely choose the individual option here. Or if it's a beneficiary or inherited IRA that's been passed to you, then you would choose the second option there, beneficiary or inherited. Alrighty, now after selecting your account type, this is where you'll be brought to then selecting the actual IRA type that you want. So in this case, we chose individual on that previous page. So you'll see here we have three different options listed. We have traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and SEP. So based on what you're trying to open, this is where you'll make your election there. And then you get some a little bit more information about what each of those different types of IRAs are and what types of dollars would be contributed to them. For example, with the traditional IRA, that would be before tax dollars, Roth IRA, after tax dollars, and then SEP IRA, once again, before tax dollars.
Nice. And Luke, if you can too, we have some great educational pages. If you're unfamiliar with the differences between these different account types and how this works when it comes to your contributions, distributions, or just how the tax implications work with traditional or Roth and where the advantages, we have some great resources on our website under it's www.tastytrade.com/account types, and you'll find information on all of our account types. You'll see some links too that'll go to specific pages explaining the different account types. So, Luke, whenever you get a chance, if you can toss that in the chat for everyone.
All right. And then after you've made the selection on the type of IRA that you would like, you get the option to add a beneficiary to that IRA directly from the application here. So if you're looking to make that beneficiary an individual, you'd go ahead and select that top option there. If you're looking to make the beneficiary a trust, you also have the ability to do that directly from the, I'm sorry, you make that election from the application, but then you'll notice there's a form that you have to complete. It's that designation of beneficiary form there in the blue text. You'd click on that. That would open the form that you need to fill out. And then once completed, you would just email that over to accounts@tastytrade.com. Again, that's if you're looking to make your beneficiary a trust, or if you don't know who you want to designate as beneficiary at the time of the application, you could always go ahead and skip that on the application itself. And then after the account's been open, you can certainly add a beneficiary once it's been open. So you will have the option to do that even after it's been open. So don't worry, you don't have to make all your decisions right away when applying for the account.
Yeah, and one thing too is that if you get caught up in any steps within this application, or you're not sure exactly what you want to do here, or maybe you're missing some of the information to be able to complete this, please feel free to reach out to accounts@tastytrade.com. And when you see there, I want my beneficiary to be a trust, that email right there, that's going to be directly to our accounts team, and they can give you some really insightful information and or help direct you to the right direction where you can find the answer you're looking for to make a decision. We'll share that contact information again at the end, but just to know.
Perfect. Okay, so after you've designated your beneficiary, or maybe you happen to skip that step for the time being, you'll be taken to another section here where it will ask about your account access. So on the application itself, you'll be given two different options for your IRA. That will be either limited access, which you can see there toward the right side of the page. That gives you the option to trade stocks, buy stocks, buy options, sell covered calls. That's everything that you can do in the limited IRA. The other trading level that we offer on the application would be the basic trading level, which gives you the ability to buy stocks, buy options, sell covered calls, and then also trade defined risk spreads. So like vertical spreads, iron condors, things along those lines. That's what you'll be able to do with the basic trading level here. And then for those of you who are maybe interested in trading futures, if we could go to the next slide here, I'll turn it over to Christian here, and he'll talk you through on how you can set your IRA up to be able to allow you to trade futures.
Yep, awesome. Thank you, my friend. And also just to give us like a little pause before we get into the different strategies and how to get your account set up to be able to trade these products. Do we have any general questions on the account opening process? Anyone running any hiccups or have any questions on account types just before we keep moving forward? We can always come back to it in the Q&A, but just give everyone a little bit of a breather here. Any questions, go ahead and toss it in the chat Q&A. Give you all a second to type.
Mike, I see you there. Is the Zoom just going over how to set up an IRA? So that's the beginning part here. And then toward the end, we're going to open it up to Q&A to answer any questions that you all may have, whether it's about trading or, once again, IRA setup. So once we get through the slideshow here, we're almost done. We'll open it up to Q&A, and we could get those other questions addressed for you.
See a question from Manny asking about the trading levels. So account access and trading levels is partly a regulatory, I said that super weird, but a regulatory restriction where, margin accounts have more flexibility in terms of what they can do because it can trade on leverage. But in terms of different brokers, they might be a little more limited towards what you can do. Different brokers, for example, will not let you allow to trade futures in your IRA, or they don't have futures in general. Or, for example, too, they might not let you sell naked calls in an IRA. So we do have, some more tolerance to being able to do more in your IRA. Pretty much almost exactly the same stuff that you can do in an individual account. But in terms of speaking about other brokers, some of it's similar. They might call it level trading 1, trading level 2, trading level 3. In our case, we call it cash, basic, or limited basic, and then the works. And the works is going to be that kind of level 3 equivalent where you're able to do everything possible. So let's go ahead, and I see a couple more questions that we can wrap up. I'll keep mind of that so we can come back at the end of the Q&A. But just to keep it going along, to get IRA The Works, it's a couple easy steps, not too bad. But the main things that I want to cover with IRA The Works is that you're going to be able to trade futures. You're going to be able to sell naked calls. And then also, I mean, the real other difference is just being able to sell naked calls and futures. I mean, there's a couple other things that I could talk to, but those are kind of the big things that are going to come in here. So it's just really being able to trade on leverage here. And then also you have your defined risk option spreads. That comes with the basic plan, but you'll still be able to do all that in an IRA. You might see selling naked puts is not applicable in IRAs. It's got to be cash secured. And, oops, actually rewinded the slide there. And then cryptocurrencies is not available for any IRA at this time. So something maybe in the future, but if you want to trade crypto, that's only in our individual accounts, retirement accounts. And then I see the question kind of coming up, and this is kind of like a point of confusion when you get into the application process, is that off the bat, you're only seeing limited in the basic on the application. You can only start with the basic plan. And then once your account is approved and open, then you can make the elections on our website to upgrade your account to the works. And I'll show you guys where to do that right now. So when we go back to our website here at my.tastytrade.com, similar to what we did when we went to go try and open up another account earlier in the presentation, you start on point 1 there on manage, you go to my accounts 2, and then in that drop down, you'll see trading preferences. And then within trading preferences, and this is where later on, if you want to, in other accounts, you can enable crypto, you can enable futures trading, or in this case, if we want to upgrade to the works and also upgrade futures, we would do that here. So you would want to start by going to manage my accounts trading preferences and then enable short calls and IRA The Works. You need to agree to the terms and conditions, and then you can get through there. One thing to consider too is that by enabling this, you are opening yourself up to more risky strategies. So please understand the risks before you get into this.
And then just sorry, I just wanted to interject real quick with the short calls there. You'll notice where 0.5 there where it says enable the works. So to get access to, not necessarily to get access to the works, you don't need 25,000, but you will need 25,000 to be able to trade short calls in your IRA. So that's another thing to be aware of. If that's one of the strategies you're looking to do, you do need a minimum account value of 25,000 for the short calls. Go ahead, Christian.
Yep. Good call out. Good call out. Thank you. Yeah. So when it comes to trading these more riskier strategies or riskier options, that's where you're going to have some capital requirements in your account. And that goes hand in hand with futures too. There's some slight differences in the capital requirements. So if you wanted to get the higher trading levels, sell naked calls, trade futures, you'd go to this page here and go through these steps. And we have some guides on our help center. I'm sure Luke can send those in terms of how to upgrade to IRA The Works. And once you got that cooking, just to make sure that it's working, if you ever want to double check, you can go to your My Investor profile, and you'll see here that you have IRA The Works selected. If you feel like you've already enabled and you still can't trade futures or sell naked calls, then you might need to go to this page and click Edit and select IRA The Works. It should do it automatically every single time, but just in case, you can check it there. And then also, if you ever wanted to go back and be like, you know what, I kind of want to stop myself from trading futures in my IRA. I gave a good stint, didn't go too hot. Maybe I just don't want to even give myself the opportunity to trade futures in my IRA. You can always go back and edit your trading level and put it back to basic or put it back to limited, and you won't be able to trade futures. And then once you got your account all set up and you got your trading levels going, and the last part to add here is that when you're going for this higher trading level, there are certain investor profile requirements that we can't explicitly say like, oh, this is the requirements you need in terms of your net income and your experience to get here. It's a self-reported thing. So based on your self-reported investor profile, your experience, your income, your net worth, that will allow you to get the IRA The Works if you meet those requirements. And if you have updated information, maybe you made your account a few years back and you got some more money or more income, yada yada, and then you weren't meeting those requirements to get the works, you can always go back and update this information in your investor profile. Cool. And then while we're talking about futures, in terms of getting futures going, we need to upgrade to IRA The Works first. So that was that first step. And then we can get futures live. And then the next thing is that when you are trading futures in an IRA, there's going to be capital requirements. So you'll need to have at least $5,000 in equity in your account to trade futures and micro futures. So essentially your account's net liquidating value, or value if you were to close all positions at the current mid price, is 5K or more. That's to trade the smaller products like the minis, mini corn, all that stuff.
Yeah, MES, MNQ, some of those more
So,
popular
yeah,
micro
so
ones. Yep.
I'm having a brain fart at the end of the day. I'm like thinking of the tickers. I'm like, wow, can I really
I
think it off the
gotcha.
top of my Woo! Long day, long day. Or it's the cold that's getting to my head. But and then on top of those capital requirements, so we got the 5K for the smaller contracts, and then for the larger contracts, they're about 10 times the size. You need 25K in equity. So that's if you want to trade futures in your IRA. And then also the margin requirements for futures products are slightly increased, or well, not slightly, but quite a bit increased in IRAs as well. If you're trading the outright themselves, it's 125% or 1.25x the current margin requirement. And then for the options, it's 2 times span. So if you're holding outright futures and options together, it combines those requirements into one. And that's pretty much the span requirement for your net positions in that future contract. So it'd just be 2 times whatever that amount would be. But yeah, so it is. There are some capital restraints, but that's towards having that extra cushion within your IRA, or essentially the capital. You don't want to be in a debit balance in your IRA. Is pretty much the case. Is that if somehow you end up with a negative balance because you got insanely leveraged with futures, then it's not the best scenario.
Just before we go on, I just wanted to touch on a couple of questions where we'll get some questions about naked calls, naked puts in the IRA. So I do just want to stress with the puts now, those you can sell cash secured puts in your IRA. You'll be able to do cash secured puts. When it comes to the naked calls, the requirements on those are going to be elevated. So it's two things there. You need 25,000 in the account and the works to be able to sell calls. And then also the requirement to sell that call is going to be much higher. I believe it should at the very least be whatever the full notional value of the short position would be, if not maybe a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, the calls essentially do have to be cash secured, and selling the naked puts, those will be or selling the puts, those will also be fully cash secured.
Yeah. And that's just an IRA limitation. It's regulatory thing that we can't get around. So I see another question. Do you recommend futures? We can't recommend futures, but we can say that it is a useful product if you're looking to trade off of normal market hours. If you're looking to hedge your portfolio based on, some of the indexes like the S&P 500 or the Qs, NASDAQ. It depends again on your risk tolerance and what your objective is. Futures are naturally a shorter term investment, so it might not be fitting for every single investor here that's looking to, get their IRA going. I would say generally looking at the larger population in the US, not a lot of people are trading futures in their IRA. I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but I can only imagine it's a single digit percent, maybe less. And that's because, there are risks. Futures are a little bit more complicated. And, IRAs are traditionally known as this long-term investment where there isn't, an insane amount of risk involved with your portfolio. But again, it depends on what you're looking to do. If you want to get some more risk, maybe you're a little younger, get a little more snazzy with it, you can go into futures and maybe look to implement that into your portfolio. But again, it just depends on your own risk tolerance and knowledge into the products as well. If you're not familiar with futures, I would say do not start trading futures in your IRA, simply because it's, yeah, you can learn from there, but it'd probably be a little bit better to start that in an individual account instead of your retirement account. And let's see, any other questions here? I see a question on the PDT. So when it comes to PDT, traditionally the IRAs are all like they're essentially all by default set up to, like, they're technically margin accounts is a little bit nuanced, but pretty much they're applicable to PDT, where it's like no matter if you have limited, if you have basic, or if you have the works, you're subject to PDT. You can make an election to change your IRA 100% to a cash account, and then it wouldn't have PDT applied. But for the most part, it has all those same PDT rules that you would see in an individual margin account.
Yep, and then just one more point to add there. Even with like these IRA margin accounts, anytime you're buying shares of stock, those still have to be fully paid for. The reason it's designated as IRA margin, like if you're trading defined risk spreads, for example, you get those margin benefits when you trade those spreads. So like if you do a put spread, you're not selling the put that you're selling is not held at the naked requirement. You're factoring the actual requirement of the defined risk spread there.
Yep. Okay, cool. Let's keep going along. We're looking pretty good here, and we can always get to more questions later. So, Anthony, back to you, my friend.
Alrighty, so this is our page. I wanted to point out how to make some contributions to your IRA on the Tasty Trade platform. So one big thing that people always seem to get a little bit confused about is if you're just adding funds from your bank account, that's actually something that you can do directly from our website. So again, very similar to what we went through before. You'll click on the Manage button there at the top of the page. Then step 2, click on My Money. 3, you go to deposits. And then at the top of the page there, you can see for the ACH transfer, we have bank transfer selected. You'll select your IRA account, and then ultimately you'll click the blue link a bank account button. So if you're sending funds directly from a bank account, this may be one option that you're looking to explore. You don't necessarily have to fill out our form to make a deposit. I know we have a form on our website, which is labeled as our IRA deposit slip. If you're sending funds from a bank, you do not have to fill out that form. You can ultimately just link the bank account on the website and submit the funding from there. Now, if you're going to be doing funding via wire or via check, that is when you'll go to our forms page and download that IRA deposit slip. And then once that's filled out, you will send that over to our banking team, who can be reached at banking@tastytrade.com.
Nice. And then I'll come back here. When we get to the Q&A, we can kind of get into more of the nitty gritty on the contribution distribution stuff, because that's where it gets a little more complicated. But before I get into some of these last pieces we wanted to talk for before getting into Q&A, I see a question coming in about account opening promotions. So we are looking towards an IRA promotion. So I'd say, over the next a couple weeks, keep your eyes out, keep your emails peeled for a promotion like that. But I would say in the meantime, if you do open up an IRA right now and you get an email about a promotion a week later, we can look to help apply that retroactively too. So if you're just looking to get it open now and then we have a promotion later, that will still be applicable towards you. So, if you're kind of like, I don't want to apply until there's a promotion, you can do that. But I will let you know that this is something that we are actively looking towards in the next month or so.
And then
Can't share all
Christian,
the details yet because it's not finalized. So, yeah.
yeah, Christian, I think you could correct me if I'm wrong on this, but with the promotion, just for those of you who are current account holders, if you've already participated in our current promotion, are they then ineligible for the IRA promotion, or we're still working out the details on
We're,
that?
we're still working out the details.
Okay,
So end
okay,
of the
okay.
day, if you're curious about if we have a promotion going, if you are eligible for it, feel free to reach out to us at support@tastytrade.com. You'll probably be talking to either Pete or myself on email, or we can always give you a call back as well. But we'll give you some more information. We just can't say anything definitive because it's not in the terms and conditions just yet. But essentially, it would be something close to along the terms of what our current account opening promotion is, where you just fund with a certain set of money and you get a cash reward for it. Yeah, it's definitely very, and that too is like promotions with IRAs accounts are so nuanced because it's like, is it a contribution? Is it just part of the account? Like, how do you get that to work properly? It's yeah, it's very tricky, but it's something that we've been working on and something coming up. And then let's go ahead and get into some other things that I just wanted to talk about that are really nice. Um, just features, not features, but necessarily just offerings that we have on the platform. So one thing that I personally really, really love, and I've had activated on my account for like 4 years now, is dividend reinvesting. So it's called DRIP for short, DRIP. And what DRIP is essentially it's going to take all of the stocks that you have. So especially, in an IRA, imagine you're going to be buying a bunch of stocks or ETFs and trying to diversify your account as best as possible. And when you have all those stock positions, you're going to start to get dividend payments coming in. And what do you do with those dividends? Do you want to manually reinvest those? Do you want to just, get some more cash in your account and then you can always readjust as you see fit? Or would you rather have those dividends be automatically reinvested into more shares of that stock? So, for example, say I have 100 shares of Ford and I get a dividend on Ford. What this program, or essentially what this offering does when you opt in, it'll take that dividend amount, that cash amount, and automatically buy that same amount in fractional shares of Ford. So, I mean, Ford's $10, but say you had, and I can't think of an example off the top. Little tired, but essentially you'll get fractional shares for your dividend payments instead of having to manually do it yourself. And then I see the tax, and DRIP has no, it doesn't necessarily have any tax benefits or essentially, yeah, there is no like tax benefit towards doing drip or anything like that. It's more of just something as a utility so that, you buy a bunch of stock in your account and you want it to automatically reinvest in these stocks as the dividends are coming in and not have to manually do it every single time. This is super, super useful. And you'll just start to see your shares accumulate more and more over time as those dividends are going into more fractional shares, and it's a compounding effect. So that's one thing. And then also, before I go into one of our other offerings, is that we do offer fractional trading on the platform too. So maybe at the end here, Anthony can pull up his account and show us a little trade. But you can trade decimal points. I mean, it's not like you're typing in 1/2 of a share. You type in 0.5 in the order quantity, and you can buy half shares. You can buy 3/4. You can buy 1/10 of a share. You can go all the way down to a $5 minimum in notional value. And pretty much that's where it's like, you only contribute maybe 6K a year or 3K a year, and you want to invest that money into a diversified portfolio. Some of these stocks are pretty darn expensive, right? Buying what is Costco at right now? I can't remember if they did a split recently, but like, a lot of these stocks are $1,000, and it's like, okay, do I really want to put a third of my capital into one share of one stock. It's like, that's a little bit ridiculous. Instead, you can go, okay, I just want to do a 10 share and get $100 in Costco. So fractional trading is super, super nice for IRAs if you're working with some less capital. And then the last piece I want to talk about too, in terms of just holding long stock in an IRA, is that you can sign up for fully paid securities lending too. And there's a little bit of a breakdown on screen here, but to give you the gist of it, essentially when short sellers are looking to set up a position, they need to borrow shares to be able to short their contract. When they are borrowing shares, they're getting that from their broker, and their broker's locating those shares from somewhere. Now, what you can do with this election is say, hey, pretty much my shares are sitting in my account. I'm giving my dividends. It's growing over time, but it's not really doing much else. It's not getting me any other income. Maybe you could write covered calls on it, but maybe you want to get some additional income on your shares that are just sitting here. That's where fully paid stock lending, for every time that your shares are lent to a short seller, you can potentially get essentially income back or fees back. So fees will get charged to the person that's short selling, and then you pretty much gain those fees. So it's called hard to borrow fees when you're short selling. You'll sometimes see like HTB next to a symbol. And that means that when you want to short it, you have to pay additional fees each day. And those fees are what's going to the people that are doing fully paid stock lending, or to the broker that's lending out the shares to you. So it's just kind of like a thing where it's like, hey, I don't want my broker making money off of lending my shares. I want to make the money off of it. That's where you could go ahead and opt in for it. And then last piece too, I think I said last piece on the last slide, but really good long-term, well, not long-term investment, but things looking in an IRA is that we did add T-bills or treasury bills to our platforms, so you can trade some fixed income products in terms of just looking at a potentially less risky investment type. Yeah, it's a short-term investment, but in terms of just getting income on your capital in your account, maybe you're not using all the cash in your IRA and it's just sitting there. You don't have any like hardcore conviction on what the do. That's where T-bills is a decent alternative, and it's super streamlined. And you don't have to call us anymore. That what it used to be. You have to call up the desk and talk through it and get the quotes and go back and forth. And now it's just all you got to do is just make a few clicks on the screen, find your right maturity, and then boom, you're off and you got the position open. So
And
it's
then
super, super nice.
with these T-bills as well. So right now we have it available on our web-based platform. So that'll be my.tastytrade.com, where we've been throughout this whole demo here. So if you have an account with us and you're currently on the desktop platform or mobile, to purchase these T-bills, you will have to go to our web version. And then also when it comes to these treasuries, so right now it's only treasury bills that are available for purchase. So like notes and bonds, treasury notes, bonds, that being, you still have to give us a call on the trade desk and we'll take you through that purchase if that's something you were interested in.
Something that we're looking towards adding. This is kind of thing. I don't know. We added this maybe last month, if I
Yep.
remember correctly.
Yeah,
So
not too long ago.
yeah, it's day one. We're adding a lot to it, and it's going to be getting a lot better, much more to offer, especially, and that'll be super useful for that long-term investing. Okay, awesome. So that was kind of a majority of what we wanted to cover today from our side. However, I want to make sure that we got all of the questions answered that we can, and or go over anything on the platform or on the IRA account opening process if you need to know it. So, and I see Primo asking, do bills reduce your margin cap? Yeah, so it's like you don't need to, you can hold T-bills on, was it 94% or pretty
Well,
much like 6%, right?
well, for your IRA, it's gonna be fully cash
Oh yeah, okay,
secure
okay.
IRA.
I
But in a
got caught up
mark
in the individuals. Yeah, yeah, true, 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 true.
long in to Christian's point that like you don't necessarily have to, these aren't exclusive to IRAs. You can purchase them in your margin account as well, if you would like, and that's where what Christian was about to mention there. They're margined at 6%, I believe. So, for
Yeah.
example, if you buy $100,000 worth, as far as how that's going to affect your buying power would only be reduced by 6K. But again, that's for margin accounts. For an IRA, it would be reduced by whatever the full amount is that you're purchasing.
Yeah, and that's where it's like maybe a more capital effective way of getting a stance on the treasury products is to trade the treasury futures too. So, that's where you might get a more capital efficient or a leveraged way towards trading that curve. And then, yeah, on screen is going to be our contact information. You can see our toll-free number right there and our local international number. Give us a call 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central, Monday through Thursday, and then we get off an hour earlier on the Friday. But yeah, please feel free to give us a call at any point. We also have a chat feature on our website, on our help center, support.tastytrade.com, or really if you go to any of on our web platform too, let's see if I go back a slide. See in the top right of this screenshot here, where my mouse is, you might not be able to see my mouse, but in the top right of the window, you see a chat button too. So you can always chat into our team through the web platform, through our help center, through normal websites as well. And then lastly, we got quite a few different specific emails if you want to try and hit the right department for your account opening. If you need to ask any, essentially anything that's super specific or kind of you think it might be a tricky question, that will get to our account specialist right away. If you give us a call, you're probably going to be talking to someone on our general support team, and they can help talk with our accounts team, kind of be a middle person, but it just depends. If you got a lot of screenshots or a lot of information you want to share over email, it might be a little bit faster to reach out to our accounts team right away, but it's up to your own preference. And then when it comes to trading futures too, good call out. If you're looking to contact us during like the middle of the night, shoot us an email to futures@tastytrade.com. We constantly have people monitoring that inbox during the night sessions. So if you're having issues with futures, and then otherwise contributions, distributions, banking at Tasty Trade, and then you can kind of fill in the rest if you're having tech issues, tech, yada yada yada.
Yep. So looks like we got a good question from Jeanette in there about transferring an IRA from another broker. So that's going to be through something called an ACAT transfer, and that can also be done on our website. Let me see here. Yeah, that can also be done on our website by going to the manage page, and then you'll click on My Money account transfers. So if you're holding an IRA at another broker right now, you can actually transfer majority of the assets in kind. It depends on what you're holding. There's certain products we don't support for trading, like mutual funds, OTC securities, for example, are a couple of things we don't support.
Here,
Um,
I'll pull it up
you're
real
pulling it
quick
up,
for us. So
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's, if I dox myself, I trust this crowd enough. I don't think people in the IRA demo are looking to hack someone's account, hopefully. But no, we should be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Let me just
And
pull
then
it up real quick.
While Christian's pulling that up, I did just have a couple notes from our banking team that they wanted us to share with you all. So like we mentioned earlier with the contributions, if you're funding from a bank account, that can typically be done online by linking your bank. No need to fill out a form. And then very similar with the distributions as well. Obviously, there's tax implications. With both if it's over contributing or taking an early distribution. So always check with your tax advisor first before making a contribution or distribution, especially if you're unsure. But when it comes to the distributions, if you're pulling one from a Roth, you will have to fill out our Roth distribution form, which is found on our forms and agreements page on the website. But if you're taking a distribution from a traditional IRA, and that's just going back to your bank account, you can link your bank account on the website and do it that way, right from the website there.
Let's see if we got it cooking.
Sanjeev, right here. I see your question about a self-directed IRA under an LLC. Yes, that is something that we offer. Now the process for that is a little bit, it's not as straightforward. So I would suggest contacting our accounts team first, accounts@tastytrade.com. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe you may have to set that up as a trust, but definitely check in with them first before trying to apply on the website because they'll get you started on the right path when it comes to applying for that self-directed IRA.
And just to show it off, if you can see my screen here, this is where on Manage My Money, and then you go to Account Transfers. And then if you want to link through Plaid, which is our instant linking system, this is where you can go through and try and link your account through that metric, or you can all potentially do it through a manual if also your brokerage or bank or whatever institution is having issues with the Plaid. It's a bit of a one-off. Sometimes like some banks or some brokers are having technical issues when you're trying to make this transfer, and that can stop it. But yeah.
I believe Fidelity, someone pointed out here in the chat, Michael, Fidelity, you're absolutely correct. They are not Plaid supported. So anybody who has a Fidelity IRA account, fortunately, you will have to fill out the PDF form here, but it's not that long. It's only one page, and we get them processed rather quickly.
Yeah, it doesn't help. It's a trap. This is a trap. Yeah. Trust me, we're working on getting that off of there. It's part of the Plaid API where it's like they still list it on there, but it doesn't work. It's annoying. So we're trying to get that off of there so that people stop thinking that it's working at least. But yeah, sorry about that. But let's see.
So David, they do sorry, Chris, David, they do use the ACAT system, but not they don't support like the Plaid system, which is the online ACAT. So you have to fill out the PDF form. Again, it's only like a page long, so you can download that from our website there. If you go to the account transfer section, and then you click at the bottom there where it says click here for manual instructions, it'll link you to a page where you can download the form. Once that's completed, send that back to banking@tastytrade.com.
Nice. Let's see. Any other questions coming in? And also too, just any general questions about Tasty Trade too. Feel free to fire it off if you got anything. Commissions, fees, products we got, any tools, features. You want to see something on the platform right now while we got it open, feel free to ask.
Jeanette, please contact accounts at Tasty Trade first. So we have general support reps on the accounts line, but as far as setting up a self-directed IRA, like that process is a little bit different. So you're going to be better off contacting accounts at Tasty Trade first. One of our account specialists will get you started down the right path as far as what account type to select when you go
Yeah.
to apply for an account.
Yeah, they make it super easy. Essentially, like send them an email, say like, "Hey, this is what I'm looking to do," and they'll send you every single step that you need to do it, and any doc you need to fill out or anything like that as well. So it just makes it a little bit easier. And they do this stuff all day long, and we don't want to try and tell you something that might not be applicable to your scenario. Kind of need to get all the information before we can say exactly what you need to do. Don't want to get any tax complications on that too, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thanks.
And then, yeah, well, while you bring that up to John mentioned here about wire transfers. Yes, the wires do typically tend to be quicker, but with IRAs, there are certain forms you need to obtain when transferring via wire, like letters of acceptance and things along those lines. So a wire is certainly possible from brokerage to brokerage, but just be aware of all the letters of acceptance that you may need, so that you're not subject to any potential tax implications when you make that transfer.
And then I see someone asking what's the difference between self-directed and the works. So in terms of like the works in terms of trading levels, self-directed or a self-directed account is pretty much just you as an individual investor making the decisions and making the trades in your account. You're not having some investment advisor or someone else manage your money for you. All of the actions that you take in your account are done by you. So a self-directed account. The works is not related to that. The works is instead kind of your like account trading level or your permissions for what kind of strategies you want to trade. So you can be a self-directed trader and have a cash account or a limited account or a works account. It's all dependent on in your investor profile when you applied for your account, you say, we ask you, hey, what is your options trading experience? What's your futures trading experience? What's your net income? What's your net worth? What's your investment objective as well? Is it speculation? Is it long term? And all those investor profile selections based on if you can get those higher trading levels or get the works, which is kind of the level 3. Limited is level 1, basic is level 2, and then level 3 is the works where you're able to do the most possible. Hope that helped clear it up.
Yep. And then I do just want to clarify because I know we mentioned, so there were questions about like self-directed IRAs under like an LLC. That's a little bit of a different type of IRA as well. Technically, all accounts here are self-directed, so you are the one that's going to be making the investment. But the self-directed IRA, like somebody in the chat referred to earlier, it's a self-directed IRA under an LLC. That's a certain type of
It's
IRA as
getting,
well.
yeah, it's getting spicy.
I
It's
don't
getting
want to get
spicy.
too, yeah, I don't want to get
We're
too
opening
deep
up a
into
can of
this.
worms.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
confuse everybody, but yeah, that's yeah, a different type of IRA.
yeah. Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. But awesome. I think we got most of the questions coming in here. Some two other places that you can find some good information in the meantime is if you go to our website, just www.tastytrade.com, and then in the top right. So first things first, we got these courses here, which is going to be at courses.tastytrade.com. You got a lot. You'll log in with your Tasty Trade account credentials. Give me a quick second. But for those of you that are just getting into the platform and trying to get familiar with how to navigate the platform and trade our different products, these videos and courses are super, super nice. And then you can kind of check out our catalog of courses here. And then also we have a entire help center with videos, screenshots, GIFs, all that jazz. So like, for example, maybe you wanted to find about futures in an IRA. Type that in and let's see. Or search engine wants to work nice, but you can see enabling futures trading, the works. And you can find out and see, oh, what were those requirements that we talked about earlier and how long does it take and where do I go to approve futures trading? Or maybe you want to see, how do I place a bracket order? Type in a bracket order, OCO order, or OTOCO order. You can get here and find our article on bracket orders, which explains with a video and screenshots and steps, how do I cancel? How do I replace? So a lot of great educational material. And then the last piece I wanted to show off here was, oh yes, the YouTube channel. So lastly, our YouTube channel, this is where we're going to post our recording, and you can find all of our live demo recordings in this playlist right here or just on the new videos coming up. But we just did one on our new back testing tool. We talked about Trading View in our one before that. So we just had a Trading View integration for any of you that like to use Trading View's charts. And then, other stuff on, options trading, cryptocurrency trading, and then a bunch of just individual videos on charting and all of our different platforms. And, some good stuff always from Scott at the top if you want a little just see the big man in action. So, yeah, feel free to reach out if you got any questions. Our contact information page can also be found on our help center. So you type in contact info, go contact Tasty Trade support. You can find our phone numbers, find our emails, and all that stuff. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone so much for attending. Feel free to reach out if you got any questions. Anthony, you got anything to say, my friend? Wrap it up.
Nope, that's it. Thank you all again for coming out today. Appreciate it, and hope you guys like the little different demo format here. Maybe we'll try it out again in the future for one of the platform demos as well. But yeah, appreciate you all coming out and listen to us go over this with you.
Yeah. Thank you, Luke and Peter, for answering questions in chat too. We respect you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap it up then.
All right,
Have a nice
have a good
night,
one,
everyone.
everybody.
Yep. See you later.